What up, everybody? This is Big Chillness. Thank you so much for joining me this evening, Sunday evening. We're a little under an hour before we do close out our weekly candle, and just want to come to you guys with a nice little update here. Thanks for joining me. Remember to hit the thumbs up button if you appreciate my content. I appreciate your time. Hope you're all staying safe out there. Make sure you're wearing those masks. So, where are we in the life cycle of Bitcoin? So, we're about to close out our weekly candle here. Let's run through a couple oscillators and indicators to get a sense of where we are on our weekly time frame, and then we can go into some smaller time frames. So, I'm on the weekly chart. This is our current weekly candle. We got about an hour left to go before we do close it out. We can see we're still in the range of our Bollinger Bands here. Middle BB support 8200, middle B upper Bollinger resistance still way up here at 11K. Okay, that is definitely a possibility. But you have to ask yourself, is the middle Bollinger the more likely first touch here? Our Bollinger Bands still remain incredibly wide on the weekly time scale. And because of that, we have to quantify the fact that um, you know, um, that we may need a lot more time in our ranging pattern here to allow Bitcoin to bring in these Bollinger Bands tighter, which can produce a much more meaningful move in terms of trend. Remember back here where we had our tightening of our Bollinger Bands and our middle Bollinger resistance on the higher time frame weekly chart that allowed us to blast through here in such a bullish way, riding our upper Bollinger Band all the way up here to $14,000. That was very tight then. We are very wide now. So I think we're going to have some more time, like probably the rest of the year, to enable these Bollinger Bands to tighten, and then in doing so to be able to create the more meaningful move, the more meaningful trend. EMA 1226, I do like this. This is our very first time we have touched our EMA 12 on our weekly time frame. That is notable. We have been ranging above it for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 weeks. So over 2 months, we were ranging above our EMAs. This is our first touch, and because of our first touch, we got a very nice bounce off it. I'm actually proud to say I was able to get a long off of this area here because of the initial touch. It's always the easiest one to play too. The very first touch of our weekly EMA 26 here. I do like that fact. Um, Still in a bullish uptrend though. EMA 26 support 8,500 and the 12 at $8,800. Let's keep going here. We have our MA 200, 150. Now, to backtest our MA 50, which has acted as support over the past several weeks here, we're talking again about a lower low to the $8,600 range potentially. Still holding overall support of our 50. And we have the very good proper um, spacing here of our 50 above our 100 above our 200. So that's what you want to see, especially on this higher time frame weekly chart. And for this basically to remain, right, we really want to keep the price action above our 50. So this 80, this mid to high 8Ks, let's call it, is truly a crucial area for Bitcoin to try and maintain that kind of support. Weekly Ichimoku Cloud, I love this guy. Okay, we can see we've been riding our bottom support here. We did bounce as well off our Kaijin Sen support, and we can see our overall cloud support is around 8970 area here. So as long as we're hugging the cloud while being in the cloud, that's still a very positive sign. Upper cloud resistance again is still over 11K, and we're still looking way in the future here till this area right here to see if we can get a future Kumo twist. Definitely looking for a bullish one there. Yeah. Right? That's something that we really importantly need to keep an eye on because in the coming months, this can dictate the bullish trend reversal that we've been looking for Bitcoin. But as you can see, that we're talking about 2021 for a lot of that price action, to take place there. And then this is our TD sequential. Now you can see currently our 9 perfected 9 is currently our top still. We see that back here about 4 weeks ago. We kind of flirting around here. We have a red one followed by a green one. back to a red one here. So still no confirmed short in the sense of a 2 below a 1, but we definitely are respecting the fact that we have topped on a 9, and that remains, there really remains closing candle support, or sorry, closing candle resistance. And that would put us, from my opinion, somewhere around the $9,700 range. That's really the big equalizer here. If Bitcoin is somehow able to get back up there, that's really the line in the sand here. We can see so many weeks of resistance, 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 resistance. Okay, but we've touched it. Okay, so many times through the weeks there. So above $9,700, and we can really shoot the moon there. But we still have a lot of time for that kind of thing. Potentiality, if you will. To potentially play out. Give me 1 second here while our closes here. And talking about the overall weekly in terms of just the overall sequence here, you can see the rejective area we've been seeing here over the past several weeks, still consistently riding that resistance. High, lower high, okay, still more or less in our closing candles at least, seeing that lower high area of resistance here. Okay, until that changes, right? Until we can put closing candles above, um, above what are we talking about here? Above the $9,700 area, and really it's like the 10.5 area is kind of the area we really want to try and see if we can be able to break through. That's really our big change there that we are just unable to break through as of now. A couple oscillators to look at here. This is our weekly chalk and money flow. This is bearish. Okay, we are below our zero line. Our zero line is right here. We are below it. Let's make that a different color. How about it's all right. Okay. Now that's not good. We're losing our money flow, right? We're losing our money flow. We don't like to lose our money flow. Okay, but we're once again below our zero line, and we're looking at this area of previous, consolidation, if you will, to hold where we are on our current CMF chalk and money flow here. This is our weekly on balance volume. This is the very important weekly on balance volume. As you can see here, we are still in our consolidation pocket. Okay, until we lose this area here, we are still holding that consolidation pocket. I say if we start building below our green line here, below our pocket line of support, then there's a very good chance we're going to be drifting lower and looking to hold support on this back test down here. But for now, we are still in the bullish consolidation of our on balance volume. We can even call it a flag support, okay? And that's very important. We'll do that in a second here. This is our RSI. Okay. Listen, weekly RSI, we're still above 50. Okay. We can't argue with that. This is our line in the sand there. Okay. There's our high, our lower high, our higher high. Okay. Our lower low. Okay. Our higher low. And we're still holding our higher low right here where we are. Okay. So we really don't want to lose this higher low from the 53 area. And of course, anything below 50, I become much more bearish. But we're not there yet. This is our stochastic RSI. We've yet to hit our top line here. Remember, our stochastic on our weekly can get up here. Okay, maybe we do have to do some sort of a curve around, okay, to touch our upper area here. But because we've yet to touch our upper area here, and really haven't done it for over a year. Remember, we were way pegged off here, back here, Bitcoin 14K. We still have running room on our weekly stochastic. Okay, that's a bullish sign, but we are in our bear cross here on our weekly stoch, and we have to respect that, from a weekly standpoint until proven otherwise. And lastly here, this is our MACD. Now we put in one, two, sort of third week of a negative histogram. Okay, here's our high, lower high, lower high, lower high. We are very spread here on our oscillators, but still trying to find them tightening here. Okay, we're very wide here still on our weeklies. We're almost as wide as we normally do get from a bullish standpoint, but we do have both of our indicators above our zero line. We do have all of our histogram as well above our zero line. So it's hard to argue this is bearish, but remember, the MACD is a trailing indicator. Okay, so we might have to wait, or it will take some time for our histogram to go on our zero line and for our oscillators to bear cross. So when we look at our MACD, we look for, kind of those early warning signals. Are we prepared to turn over? Are we losing steam? Are we losing that kind of momentum? And so far, we're still, if you want to argue that, we're still on the very early cusp of that, situation there potentially. Let's go back to our weekly here. So along with our weekly chart, now let's take a look at a couple other things here. I want to go to log scale, kind of clean up the chart here. So let's just look at this from a standpoint of just supports and resistances. Look at this from our horizontals here. Okay, listen, we're still under our line of resistance. We haven't broken shit yet. Okay, even if you want to start with our just upper wick here, we got running room. We can go all the way to 10.8, right? And still be in that area where we can lower, okay, still put in that lower high. Okay, that's still running room here on the bull side to still keep the bearish, lower highs in check based on what we're talking about there. Okay, so there is a little bit more running room up here, right? If Bitcoin can hold that support. We have yet to test this area as resistance yet, and that would put us with a higher high from our previous February resistance, but still with an overall lower high from our high, lower high, and lower high. And frankly, we can get as high as, from our wick standpoint, even a little higher than that. Okay, so this is our near-term resistance. I don't really want to talk about price action of Bitcoin. Let's call it under 8K yet, because we're just not in the realm yet. We're still holding around 9K, and this is an area where, I mean, remember when we were over here, just like putting in our triangle of support, boom, right there, right? And then we broke down, and we came all the way back up. Once again, we were basically here back in the 9K area, okay? And once again, we are here back in the 9K area. Now, I don't know. I don't know if I believe in triple tops here. This is our one top, really two top, three top, four top. This is really a quadruple topping area. I mean, does that make sense? How many times we're going to continue to hit this area and just not be able to bust through it? Well, it's very possible. It's very possible we could continue to basically use this area as resistance and come back down like we've done the past several times here. It's not under the realm of possibility. These are still things that continue to happen until proven otherwise, of course. So think about Fibonacci's, okay? Because we were able to put in a higher low here, still hitting that 382 resistance from our zero line on the way up, but we can definitely look at this several more ways. Just from our top to our current bottom, okay, back to our top here. Once again, golden pocket resistance, all right, but 50% retracement support. Literally right at the 8854 area, literally right at the area where Bitcoin was able to find support, was it a day ago or so in that drop. So bearish in terms of the golden pocket resistance, right? But bullish in terms of we're now holding the 50% retracement. As long as we hold that area, okay, we can still continue to target our upper areas here. Note the 786 is at 11K. Looks like 11,720. Okay, so that's something. Okay, the bullish scenario where Bitcoin can continue to go higher is still on the table. Okay, but if we lose this 8854 area, if we lose the 50%, then there's an ever increasing chance that the 382 around $7,600 is going to be in play. Okay, and there's a big gap from here to there, and the reason there's a big gap from here and there is because we have this liquidity gap because of this mega bullish candle that we had here that brought Bitcoin from around $7,700 to $8,800 in 1 week's time. Okay, couple back-to-back wicks in the following weeks there. Okay, but Bitcoin can move very fast once it loses the $8,700 area. Now, I don't think we're going to lose it just yet because we've had a nice bounce from it so far, and we're maintaining this area of support. Um, but we're kind of cuffed between the 50 and the 55. Okay, that does happen. That does give us around a $500 area of support and resistance. This is called ranging, right? And that area of ranging can basically quantify the fact that we could be in here for some time, until one of these areas of support and resistance breaks. And whichever way that does happen, that's probably going to be the direction we end up going to. If we end up losing this area here, there's a good chance we're going down. And if we end up breaking above 93.50, right? Especially closing above 93.50, I think there's a very good chance that we're going to go back up here over 10K. Okay? And that's kind of how I'm seeing it. That's kind of how I'm seeing it here from a weekly standpoint here. Just based on the candles there, we would be able to break through the previous high of last week, or we kind of break through the low of last week, which is this week, which ends in a half an hour. Look at the daily chart. See what goes on in the daily chart here. All right, so let's think about this in terms of risk versus reward here. Okay, prior to this day, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days in a row of red candle price action. So you say to yourself, all right, had 5 days in a row of red candle action. We're probably due for some sort of a nice green candle here. Looks like we're probably going to have it. We're probably going to, in 26 minutes, hopefully, we'll be able to close out this day on a higher note, on a green note, and kind of buck this trend here. Okay, when we look at our daily oscillators, they show a different sign here. Where we're way down the bottom here on our daily stochastic, we were able to touch our zero line on our leading indicator there. Maybe on our zero line, on our other one, intraday there, it's hard to tell because this doesn't leave much of a shadow. But this is an area here where we finally bottomed out, on our stochastic there. This is our daily RSI. Okay, we were able to find support at 41, bounce to 43. Maybe we're a little higher early on in the day there. Okay, but still, there's our low, there's our lower low, there's our lower low. So we're putting in these lower lows here, and we are below on the daily chart that area of 50, okay, which we want to hold. Remember, on the weekly we're above it, but on the daily chat we're actually below it. Okay, now, but still not terrible. We're in the 40s here. We can see in the previous area here where we've bounced. Okay, we got some history here. This clearly was an area of resistance, support. Resistance. We back tested a couple times. We were able to advance off this area. 38 to 40. Okay, so maybe we are able to hold this higher low bounce here, which would be good. Okay. On bounce volume. Oops. Not terrible. Okay, definitely not terrible. We're in the zone. We're in the area. We haven't had any major breakdown. Definitely a little notable pullback here. This was our running rise here, pulled back. But we've done that before. Here was our dump here, pulled back, came back up here, almost matched our top there, came back up again. So we're definitely hitting our resistance from our previous top, but in no way is this capitulation of any kind just yet. Although I will say, with our dump, did not see a lot of pullback here. We're up what, $200-300 from our lows from yesterday. Just a little blip there in terms of OBV. So not the most encouraging bounce from an OBV standpoint. This is our MACD on the daily. Again, this is looking pretty bearish here. We basically are still in the negative histogram. We are, which is a positive thing, putting in an ever so slightly higher low here on our histo. I mean, ever so slightly, by just a tick. Looks like we closed here at 59.06 minus. I mean, we'll kind of close here at 59.05 maybe. We have both of our oscillators here below our zero line. They are pretty wide here. They are spread pretty wide. So maybe we're looking for a little bit of relief here. Keep an eye on this blue one here. That really needs to put in some sort of a hockey stick V reversal. Otherwise, we still are trending down on our MACD, something that basically has been straightforward there all the way through May. And that's something we got to think about there. So about 20 minutes till our closing weekly candle, closing daily candle, still holding in this range here. This was definitely a decent lower wick there. If you look at our volume profile, okay, yesterday's sell-off, okay, was a lower volume profile the previous 2 days, right? And today's profile is lower than all of them. So we could argue this is seller exhaustion, right? We have selling for the past several days here as our volume's declining. We're putting in a green candle, right? So, that's something. Um, Bitcoin has been definitely correlated with the overall stock market. We can look at futures, see what's going on here. Looks like we had a little bit of a gap down, and we have a gap here from our previous close. And it looks like we're trying to range in this area, but in no way is this kind of a major bloody Monday setup, in any capacity. If we were kind of gapped down hard, we'd be gapping down here. So that's not really bad at all. And speaking about gaps, this is our CME. Now I always go to my 4 hour on the CME, and we have a gap on the CME. We absolutely do, right there, back up to around $9,200, somewhere in this range. So that does give the possibility that Bitcoin could uh, range higher and fill that gap around 92. Remember, the CME is forward, um, is bullish, more bullish than Bitcoin, and front running Bitcoin. 9140. It is delayed, but it's probably at least 30-40 bucks higher than Bitcoin is. Bitcoin spot price is currently at 90.94 ish. So we're around 50 bucks, 40 bucks higher than spot price. That's slightly bullish. Okay, it's better to be above than below on the spot price there. So this does give a narrative that Bitcoin does want to close this gap here, at least the one that's the newest one. Okay, um, let's mark this here as our newest gap, and let's put a price label on it. There she is. We'll make you bigger so you can see it. Now remember, that's not our only gap in the price in the chart, as we all know, right? Once again, guys, we got what do we got? 47 of my closest friends here in the chat room. Please, thank you for hitting my for. Thanks for joining me tonight. Remember to hit that thumbs up button. Still got some show to go. Also, you'll see in the comments area, I do have my link here to Bing Bon. It is a new, well, it's not very new. It's been pretty substantial in Asia, and they're trying to break into the U.S. Market here. And I've been playing around with their site for the past few weeks. I've been doing some trades in the past few weeks, and I like it. I really like it. And they got a lot of pairs. They got Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, LTC, BCH, EOS, ETC, TRX, BSV, ADA, and Link. They also have U.S. indices. The Dow, the Nasdaq, the Russell, gold, and oil. And they also have Forex, which is cash, like USD to the euro and that kind of stuff. So lots of good trading pairs. Very easy to use. And I'm doing pretty well in my trades there. So if you guys have any interest in doing some of that leverage trading, I am going to post a lot more of my trades on Twitter in the coming week here. I'm going to get a little more active in it. But if you want to interested in signing up, I got my affiliate link there as well as on my pinned tweet on Twitter at Big Chonas. Remember to follow me on Twitter as well at Big Chonas. So here's our gap here on the CME. We got gap here at 11.7. But a gap here at 7.6. We got a gap here at $3,500. What? Yeah, we do. So now we have 4 gaps in the chart on the CME futures. Boom. Remember, you are here. Okay, so we are closest to the $9,200 gap. Okay, which is right there. I'll leave that right there. Okay, so we're definitely closest to that guy. Um, But as you can see, there are still other gaps in the chart. And listen, my theory does stand that I believe all these gaps, including the one down here at $3,500, will get filled at some point. But as we know, this can take a very long time. As we remember, the biggest gap ever here was the one we opened up back here. January of 2018 took 526 days to fill. It filled to the penny, and that was also marked Bitcoin's top. Okay, something we can definitely not ignore. Okay, that's why I believe on the 4-hour chart is my go-to, and then all these gaps will be filled. But probably the newest and the nearest gap is probably the best one that has best chance to get filled first. That means Bitcoin probably has a couple hundred more dollars in its in its in its oomph, power, whatever you want to call it, to get the move there, and that's definitely a possibility. So we have S&P futures, the gap down, but coming back a little bit, still a little lower. Definitely not any kind of surge, but we said until tomorrow morning to play with that. We got Bitcoin $9,100. We got dominance still at friggin' um, the mid 60s. Bitcoin dominance has been in the mid 60s forever, right? Forever. Even yesterday when we had Bitcoin's move there, we were able to gain around a percentage there. But look at alts took some of that money as well. We can see that because Bitcoin dominance dropped almost a half a percentage there. Okay, so that means that Bitcoin pumped and the alts came along with it. And then some of the alts ran a little more stronger than Bitcoin. And we're basically seeing that playing out here because of the dominance and the way it is structured here. Now, as we get to our close of our week here, we can definitely engage some little shenanigans. Those are definitely possibilities. But for now, I would assume our weekly low is in. It's possible our weekly high is in somewhere around this area. This isn't the best looking weekly candle, that's for sure. I did want to bring up a couple other things here. This is our Heikinashi. This is our weekly Heikinashi. Now, when we have Heikinashi, what we look for is a very tight bodied candle. That can determine a directional change, something like this, something like this, and of course, the gold standard, something like this guy right here, which is just so money and was just a great signal right here to long. And if you had done that, you would have ridden this all the way up, all the way up. Okay, so this candle this week, you know, it's reversal-ish. It's not the tightest body we'd like to see, you know, but that's definitely something there. And if this is reversal-ish, remember this is reversal from the current trend. Current trend the past 2 weeks is bearish, so we could definitely be seeing something here move a lot higher. That is definitely possible. So, where do we stand now as we go into this end of the month here? And that's what I want to talk about. Not only are we closing our monthly, our daily, and our weekly, but in a couple days from now, we close our monthly candle. Is this a monthly candle you can get excited about? Well, no, it's not. I mean, this is a shit candle right here. Okay, decent upper wick. Okay, but as Cheds would say, this is not a shooting star. This is a high wave spinning top at best, more like a spinning top, because the lower wick cannot be ignored. Okay, if we close this candle on the month in 3 days down by the 8800s, okay, then yes, this would be a really bad candle. It would be a shooting star, and there's a very good chance it would be trickling back down lower and lower and lower. But for now, we do have the bounce to $8,800. That is significant for now. And until we lose that price action, okay, we still have the overall uptrend intact, especially on our monthly time frame. Even with our monthly time frame, Bollinger Bands remain insanely wide, insanely wide. Okay, middle Bollinger support down 7.2, upper Bollinger resistance over 12K, very similar to what we had seen on our weekly time frame as well. We're still ranging above our EMA 12, which Bitcoin was able to bounce above here. Okay, oscillators, CMF below zero line, bearish. On balance volume, okay, there's our low, there's our high, there's our higher low. But we're still putting in lower highs all the way here. We're looking for that to break. This is a monthly RSI above 50. Above 50 is good. Cannot argue with above 50. Okay. Still finding that resistance there, a faux show. Okay, we got to keep that in mind. And well, we have a bullish cross here in our monthly stochastic. So that's something there. And remember, this bullish cross in our monthly stochastic, in theory, could ride us up to the promised land, right? Not out of the realm, for sure. So keep an eye on the monthly. It ends in 2 days, 3 days. We'll reassess it as we do close the candle, and we'll definitely do some analysis on the candle. Okay, consistently here, upper wicks, Bitcoin cannot close above. Cannot close above. Can Bitcoin hit $1,000? Sure. Why not? What would it take to get us there? I'd be hard to see that we grind it down to 1,000. It would have to be some sort of a massive event. But remember, it only took us 4 or 5 days to go from 9K to 3K to 4K. Okay, so massive events and Bitcoin, they kind of go hand in hand. Okay, we're definitely not immune to them. But this is true, and this is something that we have to keep in mind here. So just real quick here, we'll go on a little bit of a lower time frame. This is the 15-minute. So here's some trading advice from me to you. Been doing a lot of trading recently, mostly stocks because stocks have been very hot recently. Okay, I've dabbled in some Bitcoin, but I've mostly been focused on the stock market just because it's just been insane. I'm seeing um, FOMO and hyper volatility I haven't seen in years. And as a trader, I'm taking advantage of it. I'm having the best 2 months of my life in terms of trading, but it's just also probably the two stressfulest months of my life. But things I look at to keep me in check, right? To keep me in mind. Very first thing, what's my go-to oscillator? 15-minute chart, 15-minute chart, stochastic RSI. Okay, remember I've adjusted my stochastics to 90 on the top, right? And 10 on the bottom, okay? You can do that here under style, 90-10. Remember the default's 80-20. The reason I do 90-10 is because it keeps me more conservative. It tells me when we're in more an extreme area. I also look for patterns in the oscillator, okay? This was a great pattern I've been watching the past several hours here. Look at boom, 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 triangle support. There's our break there. Now, I wish Bitcoin had moved a little more than like 20, 30 bucks on that move there because we really pushed high here on our 15-minute stoke. But again, I do not like to buy anything, stocks, Bitcoin, alts, when the 15-minute stochastic RSI is above 90. I'm not going to sell or I'm looking for a long entry when the 15-minute stochastic RSI, right, is below 10. This is one of my rules. I stick to these rules and it prevents me from FOMOing, okay? I would never long anything when the 15-minute stochastic is up here with both our oscillators. I would never short anything, okay, when it's down here under 10. I would consider a long when we're under 10. I would consider a short when we're over 90. Okay? Right now, we're in none of those places. So if I'm long, I'm holding on. If I'm short, I'm really, well, I shouldn't be short because I probably would have wanted to sell when we got back to our area here. So these are one of the tricks that I like to use here. I want to go to the 5-minute chart and I want to go back to right here. I was watching this dump we had a couple days ago, and as soon as this 5-minute candle got all the way down here, got down to 14. We're probably lower. We're probably at like 10 intra-candle here. But if we go back in history, this is where Bitcoin bounces on the 5-minute chart. Look how many bounces, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, happen when Bitcoin is in the teens here on the 5-minute chart. Boom, right there to the penny. Now, it's not science, okay? It's not an exact science, I should say, but it gives you the best risk versus reward. Would you long something that was up here? And again, with the RSI, I've adjusted them 80-20. Normally it's 70-30. Gives me more conservative. When we're over 80, okay, when we're in the high 80s here, I wouldn't long this shit. I consider maybe shorting it, but I wouldn't long it. Down here, when we're under 20, I wouldn't short this shit. Okay, under 20, I'd consider longing it. I actually did long it. So these are just some of the things where we can use oscillators to give us a sense of where we are in the price action. And as traders, what we're looking for is that little edge, right? That little edge. Even if you're in a casino, you want that little edge. It gives you a couple more percentage points above, what a um, you know what the casino does have over the trader, the advantage, right? It just gives you a little more of that clarity and gives you a better risk versus reward. It doesn't always work out. We tend to put in lower lows in the price action with higher lows in the oscillators, and that definitely can show a bullish divergence. But those little tricks just keep you, you have no idea what to do. Is this long? Is this short? Is this bullish or is this bearish? I go to the 15-minute. I look at the stochastics. I look at the RSI. Get a sense of where we are. We're in no man's land. Okay, we're in the middle here. Okay, if I was not in a trade right now, I wouldn't do anything. I wouldn't do anything. I'd probably consider a long maybe, but the ideal long was, an hour ago, a half hour ago, when we were down here in our stochastics. Maybe I'd be looking for a short if we get back up here. Okay, but until then, I'm not doing anything. The key to being a successful trader is to, most of the time, sit on your hands and be patient. All right, I've been on long enough. Guys, thank you so much for joining me. Remember to hit that thumbs up button. We'll try and do more of these videos in the near future. If you guys are interested in doing some leverage trading, remember, leverage trading, listen, I'm going to do some videos on this and how to use the Bing Bong interface. They are doing an upgrade to their UI in the coming weeks, and it will definitely be definitely a much more, from a trading standpoint, better interactiveness. So that will be something that I'll be looking forward to and excited about because I've been giving them feedback about things I'd like them to add, to include, and to update, in their trading platform. But it's pretty good. I'm really happy with it, and I'll be doing some more stuff. And potentially, I'm considering. I'll just throw this out here right now, even though it's still really early. Potentially considering some sort of a private group in the near future. I'll be doing it completely on my own because I think that's probably the way to go at this point. But listen, Bitcoin. You know, I'm not super bearish yet until U.S. equities become super bearish, and until U.S. equities become super bearish, I don't think Bitcoin will fall. As you can see there, we have closed the gap here in U.S. equity futures. Okay, so listen, we were bearish. We looked like we were about to go red to green, and Bitcoin's hanging in there, right? It's hanging in there, and it's holding suit. And as long as we're able to hold Bitcoin above $8,800, um, we're still holding an overall uptrend that really cannot be uh, denied. I will talk about one more thing before I sign off here. Um, and yeah, we'll stay a couple more minutes until just we get that closing candle confirmed here. All right, so this is our daily chart. These are my go-to EMAs. Now, for the past several days here on Twitter, I've been talking about this, okay? This is our bullish. We're bullish for bull cross, almost broke bearish there. Had a little touch higher. There was our pump. And then back to bearish. So our bear cross is confirmed. Okay, this is real. We cannot deny that. But when we normally do this, we tend to get a back test of our price action to test at least our EMA 12, which is now below our 26. That's at 92.95. Okay, so when we bring back our price action, we can see that touching this area 92.95 up to 93.60. Definitely a very good possibility. Okay? And because of that, I can see us doing that, you know? Our near-term price resistance is the upper 9Ks. It remains a for formidable area, um, and as well as our EMA oscillators here. Normally, when we've been so bullish with our oscillators being as bullish, when they do bear cross, even after this initial fake out and then this final confirmation here, they tend to hold the bear cross. So I can say if I was going to put out a trading plan here, I'm bullish on Bitcoin to roughly this box here, okay? And then I would potentially consider, um, some sort of a short trade with a stop loss in this range, and just kind of I would basically probably do a trailing stop all the way down here. Because what this represents is a back test of our EMA resistance. I expect this to hold on the back test and potentially that lower lows in play. But we're going to look to our equity markets tomorrow to see how that actually does play out. And until we see that, we'll get more of a clearer um, sense of what we're going to be seeing in the week to come there. The correlation between the S&P and Bitcoin is stronger than ever. Except Bitcoin has been front running it on a bearish standpoint here. Okay, Bitcoin's been bearish before the S&P turned a little bearish. Okay, we'll see if the S&P can kind of hold suit and reverse said trend. With that, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. Remember to be safe out there. Okay, we will talk to you guys soon. Follow me on Twitter. Hit the thumbs up. Subscribe to Bing Bong under my affiliate link. You do get a bonus depending upon how much you add to your wallets there. If you're in the US, you do not need a VPN. It is not KYC. You literally just are able to sign up and go, and that's something that I think is very cool. And I will continue to play around with it and basically offer them feedback to make it a better trading, overall platform there. All right, last minute of the day, last minute of the week. Nice little, little pumpy pump into the close there. Okay, we're on definitely a little short-term uptrend. Okay, I put a little alert here. You can see right here at 90.66. This is kind of my bullish bearish line in the sand here. Okay, look at this. Here was our bounce. Here was our, okay, bounce, full spread, come back up here, get the rejection, come all the way back down, sweat the longs, longs hold, okay, come back up here, sweat the shorts, okay, sweat the longs, break through, liquidate the shorts. So 90.68, 90.50 area here, this is where the shorts got liquidated, okay? If you shorted this pump here, okay, you're doing pretty good, then you get liquidated here. Okay, that's where the shorts got liquidated. Now we have this line in the sand, I would argue is a very meaningful line in the sand. Because if we break down below this area here, that means that really we failed to hold the area that was that liquidation point for shorts when we had this bullish move here, and we're also holding above the range of support. So I look at near term 90.50 as a meaningful support area. If that breaks, it's probably a very good chance we're going to test these lows once again. But until then, we got, some buffer here, some running room, and I'm not going to sweat it until then if I'm in any of my longs there. And I'm not really looking to short this really anytime soon until we get up and potentially retest our EMA 12 and 26, which I had said is somewhere around that $9300 area, somewhere up here. I wouldn't really want to short Bitcoin until we got somewhere up in this area here. And again, it depends how we do it. The faster we get up there, the more interested in a short I will be. The more of a grind we get up there, maybe we have some more power in us yet. Okay, until next time, I'm seriously signing off now, I promise. Big Jonas, love you guys. Be safe. Talk soon.